So Marjorie, I wanted to share a little bit about you before we get into some of the amazing content you're going to be sharing with us. Marjorie's talk is tips and tricks for busting your public speaking anxiety. I will be taking notes as always. So Marjorie named both top speaking coach of the year and top motivational speaker of the decade. She's a communication and confidence coach, and she's still going strong at 81 and intends to be the most fabulous 100-year-old babe you've ever met. Yes, you are. And she's the author of the #1 international best-selling book, Empowering Business Owners to Overcome Speaking Fears, whether you're talking with one person or 1,000. She's also one of 50 women, including Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates, who are contributing authors to the book, America's Leading Ladies: Stories of Courage, Challenge, and Triumph. For over 40 years, Marjorie has coached reluctant speakers to create their unique and authentic messages, acquire engaging presentation skills, and overcome their fear of public speaking so that they can communicate with confidence and skill and reach their professional and income goals. And of course, to make the impact they desire to make in the world. So thank you so much, Marjorie. I feel so honored to have you here.
I'm delighted to be here. And I have to tell you, when they called to tell me they were offering me motivational speaker of the decade, I thought, of the decade? Are you kidding? Well, you know, somebody says something nice to me, I'll take it.
Absolutely. Yes. So, and just so impressive about the one of 50 women, including Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates.
Yeah, when I was invited to be in that book, I have to tell you, that was so special.
So incredible, amazing. So let's get right into it, because I know you've got a lot of amazing content to share. Why is effective communication essential for reaching our goals and fulfilling our mission in life?
Well, it goes back to my belief that everything is based on relationship. And it's, you know, it's basically become a cliche, Alexandra, that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And what is that? That's a relationship. And the only way you can build a relationship is by communicating with people. It's the basis of everything you want to accomplish in life. So it's really important. And it's interesting, people, you know, on the list of fears, public speaking is #1, ahead of what I call the 3 Ds of death, disease, and divorce. But people think public speaking and they think giving a speech. I think it's any time you talk to somebody other than yourself. Because I know people who actually have really no problem getting up and giving a speech to a big group, but putting them in I got to talk to somebody in a networking situation. Pick up the phone? You want me to pick up the phone and call somebody? Are you crazy? And the fact is that whatever we want to accomplish, whether it's in a business, for many years I was a volunteer for various nonprofits, whatever it is we want to accomplish, we have to basically end up communicating with people. We cannot, even people whose life work, like an artist or a composer, they still have to talk to people and communicate in order to sell their work. So it's the basic. And I'm reminded of the quote from one of the most famous quotes of, oh, now I'm drawing a blank, but that's okay. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Henry David Thoreau. Thank you, subconscious, for that gift. The thing is, why are people desperate in life? It's because they stay quiet. They're afraid to open their mouths. Oh, that's a stupid idea. Where'd you get that from? I don't like that. You dummy. You know, we're so afraid of being rejected and criticized and failing. Those are the 3 biggies, that we don't share our gifts. And what's interesting, Alexandra, people who work in hospice, who work with people at end of life, do you know what they regret the most? No. You'd think it's what they did do that was wrong. No, They regret what they didn't do. And why didn't they do it? They didn't want to put it into words. They didn't want to put it out there because they were afraid of being criticized, rejected, or that'll never work. Stupid idea. Where'd you come up with that one? And so when we don't put ourselves out there, when we can't accomplish anything. And the thing that's important to remember, especially, when it comes to communication or anything in life, if you want to get really good at something, you have to be willing to be bad at it at first. I mean, think about it. If you take tennis lessons or piano lessons or something, you don't take tennis lessons for 2 years and expect to play center court at Wimbledon. I mean, or a month of piano lessons and there you are playing a Beethoven sonata. Anything worth doing requires practice, and that's communication skills as well.
Absolutely. And so would you share 3 specific areas that are crucial for communication with confidence? I think that's a key.
Okay. Well, first of all, as I said, I truly believe that everything is based on relationship. Oh, look at that wonderful relationship.
He was a little fidgety, so he's
I'm not suggesting we go around hugging people we hardly know, and in a virtual world, that's certainly impossible. But the thing is that one of the areas I think it's really important is communicating with somebody one-on-one. And that can be on the phone, on Zoom. One day it might be in person, but a lot of times if we're going to help somebody, or if we want to find out if they're the right person for us to help, I mean, not everybody is the right person for us to help. We have to communicate with that person one-on-one. And then there's this whole virtual world that we're in. And being able to communicate online. And one of the things that's important to remember, that when you are in this digital divide, it saps your, they say, that when you take a picture, it adds 10 pounds. Well, when you're in the virtual world, it subtracts like 10% of your personal energy. So you need to really feel like you're just being more of your best self when you're online. You're not kind of, you need to, and it's really important. And so the other thing is that when you, and by the way, communication is not just verbal. When you are, I'd like to share something that I think is really important. If you want people to connect with you, now Nancy shared the link to her gift. And one of the things that I like to do is when I'm on any of these virtual meetings and networking, I keep a Word doc open and I have in it my email address, a link to whatever gift I'm giving, and also a link to my calendar. Because if somebody would like to get in touch with me and have a chat, one of my mottos is make it as easy as possible for anybody who wants to talk to you to talk with you. And so I have that in the chat right now, and I put it up there, and I apologize because I hit enter too soon and put my gift up there, but
you were prepared.
Yeah, so this is what I have. I have my email address. I have my gift. I put the name of it. And just as Nancy did, I put the word mission at the end because both of us want to know what wonderful people come to us, Alexandra, through your good offices. And then there's a link to my calendar. So it's really important to make it easy for people to get in touch with you. And the other place, by the way, is when you are having anything that you are handing out, a written document, make sure that your name and contact information is on every single page. Because people will print out a page, and maybe not the page that has your information. The other thing, my sister was talking to a friend of hers and said that a smart person learns from her mistakes. And her friend says, yeah, but a wise person learns from somebody else's.
Hmm.
So this is, I was very wise because I learned this from somebody else. When I was first starting in business, Alexandra, there was this wonderful report online. I thought, oh, I really need this information, but I didn't have time to read it, so I printed it out. So a few weeks later, I take it out. It was like a 6-page document. I'm reading it. Oh, this is so valuable. And at the end of the document, it said, for more information, click here. 2 more useless words were never typed into a document. So I learned from that. Everything I send out has a footer, and it has my name and my email address and my contact information. Because the only way you can have a two-way communication is if you reach out to the other person, but also when you make it easy for other people to reach out to you. Now, I will confess that I am not a person who loves to pick up the phone. I consider the phone to weigh 3,000 pounds. But, when I make it easy for people to connect with me, and I do pick up the phone. I mean, I'm a communication coach. If I can't work past my own anxieties and fears, then what business do I have helping anybody else? But, I'm basically a shy introvert, so I have to deal with it.
Hmm. You brought up so many great points, and one I wanted to highlight is so relevant for this particular topic of like standing out and even your brand is making the contact information easy and making it easy for them to reach out to you. It's actually a simple branding tip to make sure you include your information on each page. Make sure you're putting it out there, make sure you're sharing that. It's a simple thing, but it's so key. And I think the big takeaway for me from that, Marjorie, is that look at how you're communicating verbally and non-verbally, and see if you're actually doing things that are making it easy for people and also doing things that are helping you to stand out versus making it more difficult or playing small.
Yeah, the thing is, I have 2 mottos. Always make it easy for people to get in touch with you, and always make it easy for people to give you money.
Mm.
The other thing,
Yes,
by the
amazing.
way, is there is a branding place or a marketing piece that most people miss. Look at what's after my name. Now, it doesn't show up when you're in gallery view, but when you're in speaker view, what's after my name? It's
That's
the
so
name of
true.
my business. Now, if your business is Smith and Company, you're not going to put that, but put something that gives people a clue about what you do. So my business is Vibrant Vocal Power because I want to help everyone come into the power of their voice. And so that's what I put there. And all these hours that we're on these virtual meetings, sometimes, are full picture shows. And so if you put something after your name that will give people a clue about what you do, especially if you go to these big events that are big networking events, you get into these breakout rooms, but you don't get into a room with absolutely everybody at the event. And somebody can see your name and what you do and think, oh, I want to reach out to that person. So that's a place where you can communicate. See, I got my master's in audiovisual education, and I think the written communication is just as crucial as the spoken communication. And what I alert people to, especially in your LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn does not allow you to use a large font. And so I look at these people's about sections, and they are written in what I call a big blob of text in a small font, graphic school of design that the human eye cannot read. So there's 2 things you can do. One is very simple. Every sentence can be a paragraph with a blank line in between so everybody can read everything. And don't have huge run-on sentences that are 5 lines long or something. divide up the sentences, and then put in, my LinkedIn profile has some, green check marks and stuff. And by the way, when you have your name, the thing that everybody sees, your name and your headlines, you don't have to put that you're vice president or CEO of whatever. That's meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Put something there that's a benefit of how you help people.
Mm. So important. I actually I'm always telling people about the LinkedIn. Like I see as like super valuable real estate right there. And how
Absolutely.
often people are not really using that effectively or optimizing that little tiny space.
Yeah,
Similar to bios also in other social media platforms as well.
yeah. And the thing is, you don't want to leave that boring default banner. That's marketing space.
Mm,
That is powerful marketing
absolutely.
space.
So I know we wanted to get into public speaking anxiety. Can you share a few tips with us on how to bust through public speaking anxiety? And I will be taking notes because I'm still in
Okay.
progress.
Okay. First of all, do not beat yourself up for being nervous. It's perfectly natural. In fact, Mark Twain, who made his living the last part of his life giving speeches because he lost all his book money in some kind of boondoggle, said that there are two types of speakers: those who are nervous and those who are liars. Because everybody gets nervous. But the thing about nerves, think about it, you feel it in your body. It's nerves, that's nervous energy. How are we interpreting it in our brains? It's because excitement and fear are two sides of the same coin. So use that nervous energy to give enthusiasm and energy to whatever you're sharing, because we've all heard people who get up there and start talking and they have absolutely no energy and they are boring. Ugh. So think in terms of nervous energy. Energy not being nerves, but excitement. You're excited about an opportunity to share. Second of all of this is felt in your body. So you use your body. If you do yoga breathing, breathing is wonderful to do because when you do deep breathing, you are immediately giving your body a message that you are safe. We feel afraid because we feel emotionally unsafe. We could get criticized. We could get rejected. We could fail. We could look stupid. All the things, what I call the horror movies we run in our minds. That's the other thing. People tend to run horror movies in their minds. Oh, and build this whole this whole horror movie up ahead of time. I would say change the channel. The minute you start hearing or feeling a horror movie running in your mind, whether it's ahead of time or right before, start changing that to the visualization of the wonderful job that you're going to do. You're there to share a gift. You're there to share information, something of value. And that's important to do. And the other thing is, don't worry about making a mistake. Mistakes are what, make us relatable. Perfection's not relatable. It really isn't.
Oh, that's an incredible point, Marjorie. It really is. I just wanted to insert something real quick that I remember a few years ago, I actually got a client because I mentioned that I was afraid of public speaking. And she's like, wow, like it was disarming and it made me more relatable. So absolutely. Excellent.
Yeah. Well, the reality is if somebody's afraid of public speaking and they come to say that they're a shy introvert, I said, well, welcome to the club.
I am a shy introvert as well.
The thing is, actually, the best speakers very often are shy introverts because we have so much we want to share, and the only way we can do it, and that's the other thing, focus on the gift you're giving, not whether the butterflies in your stomach are flying in formation. What are you offering? There are some people out there who desperately need whatever you have to share. And if you don't share it, you are cheating them. And by the way, Alexandra, I will never accept an excuse. Well, you know, a lot of other people do what I do. The reality is that there are some people who can only hear the message from you, your unique voice. Everything's based on relationship. And they don't relate to anybody else. They relate to you. And so it's important to know that we have an obligation to share. It's not simply we want to build a business or we want to feel good about ourselves or we want to do something that we're scared of so we can be proud of ourselves and blah, 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 blah. We have an obligation. Each of us has a gift and there are people who need it. And if we don't share it, we are cheating those people. So deep breathing. The other thing that happens is that for me, my mouth gets dry as the Sahara Desert. And so this is a wonderful trick that I learned when I was studying voice acting. You know, voice acting, those are the voices you hear on commercials and cartoons and telling you in the airport to watch your luggage. And they're also the robocall on the phone trying to sell you a warranty for a car you haven't had in years. But anyway, one of the things that I learned is if you rub your tongue on the roof of your mouth, it gets the saliva going. Now try not to do it like that. Try and do it.
Oh, I was doing it wrong. Excuse me for my mistake.
No, it's what you gave a perfect example. What I tell people, don't go on. Just keep your lips closed and your jaw relaxed and rub your tongue on the roof of your mouth.
Oh, on the roof. Okay, I was doing it in my upper lip. Okay, I was.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It gets the saliva going. And the other place that we tend to be nervous is, one is the breathing. We tend to, breathe shallowly. That's why it's important to breathe deeply. The other thing that when people get nervous, they tend to clench their jaw like that. And so one of the things that's really wonderful to do is to yawn, and not simply drop your chin, but yawn from separating your back teeth, the hinge. Because that, by the way, the yawning and the breathing, both of those things, the other benefit of both of them is they will improve the sound of your voice. Because your mouth is an important resonating chamber for your voice, and the air, when you're breathing, is what creates the sound. When you don't use that air, you cut off all the chest resonance, and then you say to yourself, oh, I hate how I sound. Wow. Because you're not using the breath. And when you continually use your breath as you're speaking, it keeps your nerves under control. It improves the sound of your voice. And the interesting thing about the yawning, I study singing as an avocation, and my very first singing teacher, some 40 years ago, was sang with the New York City Opera earlier in her career. And she told me that she had a fellow opera singer who, before every performance, backstage would yawn, keep breathing in and out and keeping that yawn, that wide open yawn, for like 5 minutes. And I think that accomplishes two things. First of all, it helped him with nerves because all that deep breathing helps relax your body. And second of all, it really expanded the resonating space in his mouth so that when he went to sing, he sounded really wonderful. So those are the things that you can do. And always remember that it's not about you. It's about your message and the gift that you are offering. And speaking of that, my gift is 5 speaking landmines and how to avoid them. And that's not just for giving speeches. That's just speaking, period, messaging, period. And if you'd like to get in touch, I have my email address and also a link to my calendar if anybody wants to have a chat. I'll be glad to communicate with you.
Absolutely. I mean, so many. I would love for everyone if you can shower Marjorie with some love and appreciation in the chat, and write any takeaways that you had from this talk so far. And I know you posted earlier, and Alyssa's gonna post now on our speaker page. You have a speaker page, so that includes your gift as well. So you can find Marjorie's gift either place, but her contact information she also shared a little bit up above. So
Hey,
amazing.
by the way, the glass of water, good on you. It's really important to be well hydrated. Do you pronounce, Yukiko? Our vocal folds, commonly known as vocal cords, are much happier when they are hydrated. Because when they're not, you can sound kind of like, eh.
It's cute that, well, I keep my water and I have no shame doing it, but it was one of our previous speakers.
Yeah.
She drank a sip of water, and I was like, I'm going to sip water too. And I sipped at that exact moment. And it was just so, it's important to keep to keep it hydrated, to feel good, and to do what we need to do. I move my knee, I stand, so I move my knees around sometimes if I'm getting a little tired or down, do what we need to do to really continue to lift our energy and bring that to our voice too. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, one last thing, by the way, I want to share. When you are virtual and you want to acknowledge somebody, clapping, this is clapping in American Sign Language. And I think it is perfect for the virtual world.
Oh, I love that. So let's all clap for Marjorie. And
Thank you.
as we have 1 more minute left before we end, can you tell us what your advice would be for your younger self? If there's anything you could share with your younger self.
Well, it's hard to put an old head on young shoulders. Understand that every day is a gift and every day is a blessing. And I would have said to my younger self that I should have busted out of this jail of my comfort zone a lot sooner, because everything you want to do and everything you want to share is outside of that comfort zone. And you don't have to, immediately do a moonshot, but you can tiptoe and start working your way out. And I think that, as I said, people at the end of their lives regret not what they did do, but what they didn't do. So a question you can ask yourself: if I don't do this, will I regret it? And if I do this, will I feel good about it, having had the guts to do it?
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Marjorie. We really appreciate
My pleasure.
you. We got a lot of handshaking and a lot of comments for you in the chat. Thank you again. Yeah. And this has been amazing. You can get your gift. We have a link in the chat for Marjorie's gift that you can get. For more help growing your visibility and monetizing your brand, go to alexanderfigueredo.com. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Thank you.